Welcome back into the Bangtan Universe wormhole. This is Karen here today with another Look Here video about a topic you might not have considered. Can Seokjin travel backwards farther into the past than April 11th? The Bangtan Universe game hints that he can, but how would he do it and what would it cost him? I'll explore the topic very briefly, then set you up for our next video, which will be flashy, fun, and hopefully clever. Before we dive in, please take a moment to like our video and subscribe to our channel. That helps us get noticed by the YouTube algorithm, which helps you find our content. Okay, let's get going. The Bangtan Universe game includes a lot of new information about the BU, and unlike the BTS Begins K-drama, the game appears to be entirely canon. That means we can trust the information we've been given in this scene. Seokjin believes this is something he can actually do, so have a look. Now here's where our questions begin. Before the Bangtan Universe game came out, we weren't sure how much control Seokjin had about when one loop ends and another begins. He's made statements in some of the notes which hint that the loops restart whether he wants them to or not, but that doesn't mean he can restart loops on his own if he wants. But in the clip I just showed you, Seokjin shows that he can start a loop on his own. And what's more, he believes he can travel back farther into the past than his usual date of April 11th. But how does he know these things? Has he experimented with restarting loops on his own and traveling backwards to different dates? Maybe, I guess. He must have, right? It's weird to have this huge information bomb dropped in one single episode of a game most armies haven't even played. But that's BTS for you, huh? So let's think it through. What would happen to Seokjin if he traveled backwards into the past? What would happen if, say, he traveled all the way back to year 10? Would he be his usual 22-year-old self, or would his body revert to age 10 while he kept his adult memories? Let me tell you why this is an important question. Each time BTS releases an album with a mini-book, it releases 4 versions of the album and 4 versions of the mini-book. Now those mini-books are almost identical, but each one has one or more unique entries, and those entries are often very, very important, more so than you know when you first get them. Now let me tell you about 2 of those entries that could relate to the topic of this video. The first note I want to talk about is dated 21st May, year 15. Namjoon comes home one night to a cold, empty house and hears the phone ring. For some reason, he gets the feeling that if he answers it, his whole world will change. But he picks up the receiver anyway. And just like that, the scene ends. We don't know who's on the other end of the line, but what if it's Seokjin? What if he traveled backwards to year 15 to give Namjoon an important message? It might be something that relates to the next era of the BU. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know that we think the cat is going to take revenge on our heroes by scattering them across time and space. But if Seokjin can still time travel at that point, he can go back to a point in time where they were all strangers before any of this stuff with the cat happened, and he can give them clues that will allow them to reconnect once the cat has separated them. The second important note comes from year 10. Taeyoung meets Seokjin, who's unknown to him at that time. And Seokjin is playing with the dog Taeyoung likes. But Seokjin seems strangely out of sorts. Now, if you thought Namjoon's entry was hard to figure out, this one is even harder. Maybe Seokjin is confused because this is his first time traveling backwards so far, and he's still trying to get adjusted. Maybe he is in a kid's body. We're not sure at this point because the translation isn't clear. So he might be physically 10 again, or he might look like an adult. And finally, maybe he didn't expect or even want to see Taeyoung right now, and he's afraid their meeting will cause a butterfly effect. As always with our Look Here videos, we don't have enough information yet to make solid theories. All we really know about Seokjin traveling further into the past is that he thinks he can do it. Oh, and it would also be reasonable to assume that he will do it, since the game wouldn't have bothered to give us this information otherwise. And that's all I have for you today. Almost. Let me give you a brief teaser about our next video, which we're very excited about. We think we've solved a puzzle that's been stumping other BU theorists for about 5 years. At the end of the year awards shows in 2019, BTS put out some outstanding live performances of Dionysus, and a very mysterious VCR in which the members portray, well, Roman gods. That much is obvious. Which Roman gods is up for debate? And the whole long intro to the MMA performance is up for debate. Sure, RM is playing Dionysus, but why is Jungkook splashing around in a pool, and why is Jin on a horse? We have all the answers, and we know how Dionysus relates to the BU. Stay tuned for our next One Verse video, which will drop before the end of August. Apo Bangpo!